hello again. Do you ever think you saw something out of the corner of your eye and you wonder, I must check that? Well, the other night we were running the school's locomotives around and that's what happened. Let me show you. Now, I'm quite partial to the schools. You remember I may have said I like the black one better than the green one. But look how tight they are together there. And that's what caught my eye. That's running really quite close coupled, which isn't a bad thing, so long as we're on a second radius curve there and it's not actually touching. Do you see that? But the other one, we'll have a look at that in a minute. But I pulled this one out and noticed that one of the carriages was wobbling. Let me show you what I think was going on. Now, to be perfectly honest, the reason I like these coaches is because they're non-corridor. I actually don't like corridor coaching on a modern railway because you can always see a huge gap. There are things you can do about it, but that's besides the point. I kind of like these. I've laid the other three down here. Did you see something? I went by it rather quick. Let me do that again. Did you notice? Now, I didn't know that. This one has plastic wheels. Now, where did they come from, I wonder? I must have bought these at different times, but I'm going to show you something. Nothing terribly filthy. They could do with a little bit of a clean, but there's nothing terrible there. You see the shine on the wheels. But let me pull this plastic one over to where we can see what's going on here. Now then, one of you quite rightly told me I should be using some foam instead of laying carriages on the rough old ballast. So let me sort that mess out first. There we go, that's much better. What I'm trying to show you here is, can you see the crud all around that wheel? There we go, I've put you on a tripod. Now, ick is the only word I've got. Now, I'm not going to use the sharp part of the blade. I'm going to flip this knife over and try and use the back of it. Or at least the back of the sharp parts. Watch this. Do you see that? It's absolutely caked on there. Now, I'm trying not to scratch the plastic. There you go. Do you see it coming off? That's not the plastic coming off, that's the dirt. Ick. Now, I usually do this with the blade of a screwdriver or something. I would love to change these wheels out for some metal ones, but look at that. Now, we'll go to cotton swab on that. Hold on. Just a little bit of rubbing alcohol or something on the end of this. It's actually one of those paint sticks. It's a little bit stiffer than cotton swab, and it isn't leaving junk everywhere. Try one more. While now. Much better than it was. Now, I'm not going to bore you with all the others. See if I can find one that's particularly bad. I think this one is quite junky. No wonder it was wobbling around. Yeesh. Yeah, this one's pretty bad too. I will change these wheels out for metal wheels at some time. Now, I actually do check on this quite regularly, but clearly I've missed that. Horrible. Yuck. Now, by comparison, these aren't very clean either, but you can be a little rougher with these. These are metal wheels. You don't want to put score marks all over them, but I actually do use the front of the blade for the metal ones. You can hear it grinding just a bit. Hear it? And you can see the crud coming off on the blade there. But so why am I worried about coach wheels being dirty? Well, where'd the dirt come from? And where's it going to end up? Well, there it goes. Not running too badly at all. But was I right to notice? Now then, here comes the black one. And I have a funny feeling there's something else going on with this one. See if you notice. Now, it's not nearly as close coupled, is it? Well, that's funny. It looks close coupled now. So what changed? Let me just show you something. All I'm going to do is just going to pull backwards on the coaches just a little bit and see what happens here. My word. I know what's going on here, and this is why I decided to make this video. I'm going to see if I can show you that. Well, there goes the green one going the other way. He's going back to bed. Can you see that? I can, because I know what I'm looking for. But let me just go in a bit closer here. No, can't see it. Let's go to where we got a little bit more light. Hold on. Now I've zoomed in and just moved back a little bit. Can you see it now? Right here. See that? That's the drawbar. So the drawbar isn't connected at all. I'm going to flip this upside down and show you what a horrible design this is and have a little moan. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you exactly what's happening here. It's fairly straightforward. Well, will you look at that? The drawbar should be over that little stump on the bottom of the tender, like that. Do you see? There now. And when it's not, it jiggles, comes off, moves to one side. We're actually pulling it along by the wires. That's a terrible idea. Just resting on there. What a silly idea. So what we're going to do is we're just going to glue something across there to stop that coming off. But what a horrible idea. This is a Hornby design. Well, I don't think it's really a design, is it? I wonder if that's actually on upside down, you know. No, it's just maybe bent a bit. Perhaps if I bend it just a little bit up. But that's a horrible, doesn't stand a chance. You see, every time it's just sliding off there. It's only got to go over some uneven track and off it comes. The brutal way would be to put a soldering iron on top there and melt that plastic into a cap, but we're not going to do that. We are going to find a way of gluing something on there or something. There's two holes in the drawbar this end. That hole it is in allows for second radius curves. If you were closer than that, it would be lovely on the straight, but the moment you went round, this would bind right here, you see. So that's what's going on. That's what I caught out of the corner of my eye. Just looking at the traction tires there. Don't like those things, never have. But on a vehicle with only two drive wheels, I don't know how you would avoid that. Let's flip it up the right way and see if I can get it on the track without unhooking it. I do like this though. Yeesh. There we go. Let me just pop it on the track. Now, one of the reasons I don't like traction tires is you can't just do what Double O Bill does. I love him, don't you? Isn't he great? If you don't know what I'm talking about, Double O Bill is a down-to-earth, practical repairman. Love him. Great little layout too he's got there. DC, he doesn't like DCC. He does repairs, and what he does is he pushes his locomotives into the shed. Well, you're going to rip up the traction tires if you do that, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bring the coaches to the train and get the hooks the right side. We're on a curve, of course. That's a little bit more complicated. That's it. And we'll drive this around while I tell you a little story. Now we're about to find out if I got it all back on the track and whether or not that drawbar's working. The story. Okay, my dad used to work in a bank, and one of the things they did with used banknotes was count them, then fling them in the furnace to heat the building. And one of the things he did was, as they were counting, they were looking for forgeries. And he would often say, "And you know how we knew what they looked like?" "No, Dad. How did you know?" Well, they were so used to seeing the real thing that when something that wasn't quite right came along, they would notice. And that's how I caught the drawbar. I'm so used to watching the trains go by that when something isn't quite right, you pick it up. So pay attention to things that don't look right. If that locomotive had continued pulling by the wires, eventually what would happen is that the wires would of course break, and then I would have a much more complicated repair to make, something I wouldn't want to have to do. And as this comes to a halt, I will too. Let's just check. Yeah, there you go. See, that's much better. I'm just going to try and zoom in again for you. There you go. Wires underneath the drawbar. Drawbar now bent up a little bit. You see I put a bend in it? I think it's supposed to have one, but it had straightened out a little bit somehow. But it's definitely attached to the... Sorry for the shaky cam. I usually try and edit those out, but I think in this instance you're able to see what's going on there. Well, there we go. A little thing that could have become a big thing, but it's a bad design, I think. We do get the occasional derailment on the railway, and if you're not paying attention when you put things back, then that could easily develop into a nasty little repair. Well, as always, thanks so much for watching. Leave a comment, tell me what you think. And before I start breaking things and using super glue, if anybody else has got a suggestion on how to keep that drawbar in place, I'd be more than happy to hear it. Well, as always, thanks very much for watching. Really appreciate your interest and support. I'll see you next time and we'll see what we get up to. I still haven't forgotten about that playground. I just haven't had time over the New Year holiday to get to it, but we will. Thanks. See you next time.